Hi Stampers! Today we're going to be making this little card that's also a freestanding photo frame. So I just wanted to show you how we can go ahead and make this. It's really quite simple, and let's get started. So we're going to take a piece of Blushing Bride cardstock, and this is cut 11 inches long by 4 1/4 inches wide, and I scored it at 5 1/2 inches. So this will be our base card. And then on the front of the card, I've used another piece of So Saffron cardstock, and I've cut this 3 1/2 inches by 2 1/2 inches. And we're going to go ahead and just use our corner punch and punch the top 2 corners. As far as the cupcake, I've used this awesome new punch that we have, which is the Cupcake punch. And this works so great, and it coordinates wonderful with the Create a Cupcake stamp set, so you can actually stamp and punch all of those small things out, which is awesome. So I'll show you how we did that in the project. So we're going to go ahead and use the cupcake for today to punch out. So I'm going to take a piece of crumb cake and go ahead and punch out the actual cupcake liner. We'll put that in and insert it. And you can also do this another way, which is running it through, to make it more official looking, run it through your crimping machine. And then actually punching it out, and you get this kind of perforated kind of cupcake line. So we can go ahead and do it that way as well. If you don't have a crimper, it works either way, and it looks really cute either way. So just wanted to give you that option if you don't have a crimper. So this is the way I've actually done it. I've actually used the crimper. And then for the top part, I just used Whisper White. And we're going to go ahead and just slide that in right at the top of where the top of the cupcake is there. We'll go ahead and punch that out. And I've taken a glue pen and went ahead and just put some glue at the top here. And we're using some Dazzling Diamonds. And we'll go ahead and put that on there. And get it nice and sparkly and let that dry a little bit. Then I'm going to go ahead and take the punch again, and we're going to punch out all the little sprinkles for the top of the cupcake. So I've got a small piece, and this is how you use your scraps upwardly great, a small piece of the Blushing Bride texture cardstock. We're going to cut out, punch a couple of those. And we're also going to punch out a couple in the Rose Red and also in the So Saffron. So we'll go ahead and punch those out as well. And these are just the little sprinkles that we're going to be using. And again, this is a great way to kind of get rid of your little extra scrap pieces. So don't ever throw away those scraps, ladies. They work great. In order to adhere this to the top of the cupcake, I've used this 3-in-1 glue, which works really great. Sadly, Stampin' Up! Doesn't sell it, but you can get it at any craft store, and it's just a nice liquid glue that you can easily apply these small things on. If you try to use your Tombow or anything else on top of this Dazzling Diamonds, it really doesn't work very well. So this is what I found the easiest way to do this. So I've just put a couple little dots of glue on top of the Dazzling Diamonds, and we'll go ahead and apply our little sprinkles. Okay, and we'll set this aside and let that dry a little bit. Then we'll put this over here for now. As far as the writing here, what I've done is I've used the, again, the Create a Cupcake set. And there's a saying in here which I think is so cute. It's not about how many candles you blow out, but how many cupcakes you get, which is so appropriate for this card that we've used. And what I've done is I've just actually stamped that saying on a piece of Whisper White cardstock using Pure Pizzazz. And then I went ahead and just cut out that piece using a scissors. And then I cut another piece to border it, which is in the Blushing Bride cardstock. And we're just going to go ahead and put those together using a little bit of snail adhesive. And then that part will be done. So now all we have to do is just to kind of put this all together, the front of the card, and then I'll show you how to do the middle. So I just went ahead and just used a little bit of adhesive. And we're going to use the rounded corners at the top of the card. I'm going to use a couple dimensionals, popping up dimensionals here, just to kind of raise that up a little bit for our little saying, which I think is so cute. I love that little saying. And we'll go ahead and apply that at the bottom of the card. And then we'll start putting our cupcake together. And again, I'm just going to use a dimensional one in the back of the bottom of the liner here. We'll put that on. And then now that this is a little bit more dry, we'll go ahead and take our top of our cupcake, and I'm going to go ahead and apply some Tombow to that. And we're just going to put this down flat, so that's not actually raised up. And then we're also going to put a little cherry on top, and the cherry is in the cupcake punch, so we're going to use a little bit of rose red again, and we'll punch that out. And now we've got our little cherry for our top of our cupcake. Oh my God, is this the cutest little thing in the world or what? And again, we'll use just a little bit of Tombow. So there you have the front of the card. So that's pretty much all done. Now the next little part that we're going to do is the inside. And I've already pre-done some of these things just to kind of tell you what I did. We're going to be using the top note die, which again, we just run this through the Big Shot. And this is the top note. I love this thing. And you can cut up to 4 pieces of paper at a time, really. It cuts pretty well. So I went ahead and punched out, or cut out 2 in the Pear Pizzazz. So that's going to be at the base for our photos. And then to put those on, I just went ahead and used some Tombow again. And we'll put those right in the center. There we go. And then for the inner part, I used a piece of So Saffron, and that measures at 3 3/4 by 2 3/4, and that's actually going to be our panel for the center. And I went ahead and pre-cut these. So again, 3 3/4 by 2 3/4, and those fit pretty much right in the center of that top note die. So we'll have that done. Then the inside piece, the white piece, is actually cut at 2 1/2 by 3 1/2, which actually can hold a 2 1/2 by 3 1/2 photo, or a actually a wallet size photo even, if you don't want to cover up the little candle area. But if you want to put a photo in here, this will actually slip under here, so that works out really good. So I'll kind of show you how I did the candles, just so you have an idea. What I've done is I've taken that piece of paper, that Whisper White, which is the 2 1/2 by 3 1/2, and I have the clear die set, so you do need a block, a clear acrylic block in order to do this. And this is the stamp set, Create a Cupcake. So I've got the little candle. I went ahead and used my Stampin' Write markers. So I did 3 individual colors, and for the flame I've actually got Daffodil Delight, and then I made 1 in Rose Red, 1 in Pear Pizzazz, and then 1 in Blushing Bride. So we're going to go ahead and stamp, and I'll show you how I did that. I've already had one completed. Okay, then you're going to clean this off, and you're just going to go ahead and apply the Daffodil Delight again, and this time the Pear Pizzazz, and you're just going to continue to do that and finish that up with these 3 different candles. And then we're just going to go ahead and apply that to the So Saffron. I've added a little jewel rhinestone at the bottom, just to color that up a little bit. And then as far as the saying up here, I've used the saying Happy Birthday from the same stamp set. And I'm going to use Pear Pizzazz again. And we'll go ahead and actually apply this background piece here. There you go. And we're going to go ahead and use, like I said, Pear Pizzazz, the stamp pad. So we'll go ahead and do that on a piece of Whisper White cardstock. There we go. And then what I've taken is I've taken the word window punch and punched out that. So now we've got the happy birthday done. I've taken the modern label punch and I went ahead and punched out some blushing bride paper to get the background color. And then I just went ahead and applied this again with some snail or Tombow. And then I took a couple dimensionals and I just used those on the ends because we want to have enough room to slide a photo underneath. And applied that. Then the last little part of the card, and I just kind of put that up in the corner, the last little part of the card we're actually going to be adhering the ribbon here. So I've used the Pear Pizzazz. This is the seam binding, which is awesome. It's in the mini catalog now, and I hope they continue to carry it. Went ahead and just kind of wrapped that around the front of the card, tied it in the inside of the card, just did a little knot. And then I used another small piece. We'll just kind of, this is probably about 15 inches long. You can probably do maybe like 13 inches long because we're going to have to trim a little bit. Okay, and then to decorate the outside a little bit, because I thought it was a little bit plain over here, I took another small piece and I went ahead and just kind of put that underneath here and tied a knot in the center just to give it a little bit more interest on the outside because it just looked kind of plain to me. And then you can go ahead and just trim that up. And there you have it. A great little birthday card, but it's also a standing photo frame. Hope you enjoyed that. Have a great day. Bye-bye.